Hello class, and welcome to week 1 of the course. In this week's video we are going to start by doing some work in the Microsoft Word program, and we will begin in chapter 1. So what I'd like to demonstrate here is objective 1 and objective 2 in the first practice exercise, essentially in the chapter. This will serve as a launching point for you to get started. So if you start by going to page 152 of your textbook, you'll be able to see where we are here. This page will show you what files are needed, which is also what you're going to find standard in all of the assignments, and then also what files you will basically be saving it as. Sometimes there will be multiple files, so that's important to note so you know what's expected when you're turning in your assignment, which final files you should have. So having said that, if we this here is also showing you what the final project results would look like if you carry it through to the end. So let's move on to the next page, to which you'll see objective 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to start right here with number 1, and the first thing of course is to start Word, and so we will do that. Go ahead and launch your Word 2016. And then, as you will note here, it says to click blank document. So we'll do that. Once you have your blank document open, the next step here is to go to the Home tab, and in the paragraph group we're going to click the Show Hide Marks if necessary. If you have not done this before, you likely will need to do that in this step. So here on the Home tab, paragraph group, Show Hide Marks, and that's going to put this character here. Now, once you have this, you'll also want to check your rulers to see if they display. So if the rulers do not display, click the View tab, and in the Show group, click the Ruler checkbox. So we'll go here. As you can see, I have the checkbox here. You can also see the ruler up at the top of the document across the top and along the left hand side going up and down. Now we move to step 2. And so at the top we're going to type internships available, and as it indicates we're going to press enter 2 times, and then we're going to type the following text, which I'm going to do and start the video back up. So as you can see, I've typed in the text indicated in step 2. Now that that's complete, you will scroll down to, to step 3. Okay, and at step 3, it asks you to press the space bar. So we're going to do that here right at the end. And if you go to the next page, you will see that your document should look essentially like figure 1.2 here in the middle. So go ahead and take a moment to compare what that looks like for you. Now when we get down to the next part here in activity 1.02, we're going to click the Insert tab, and then in the text group we're going to click the Object button arrow and then click Text from File. So this is the Object button arrow and then Text from File. Now when it comes up, you're going to be looking for a file in your student data file, so it's important that you save these to a location always that you know where they are. So in that Insert File dialog box, we're going to navigate to the student data files that come with the book, and I'm going to select the W01A text file and click Insert. So for me, I have this file. It's under the Word Chapter 1 section, and here it is. And then I'm going to click Insert. Now you can see it's inserted it basically from where my insertion point was. This is convenient because you can add content from an existing file that you might already have and need without having to retype it all manually. So once we do that, you can compare your screen to figure 1.4 as it indicates here. So if we go to the next page, you can see that. And this is figure 1.4 at the top. Now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and click Save on the Quick Access toolbar. And because this doesn't have a name, it'll bring the Save As box. And so what we want to do is save this, again, save it to a location where you will want to keep all your course files so that you can find them easily, because this is where they'll be when you go to submit them for your assignment. So for me, of course, the name that they indicate, they'd like you to create a folder named Word Chapter 1, which you certainly can if that's easier to organize. But more importantly, make sure in the file name box that using your own name, replace the existing text with last name, first name, 1A flyer. In this case, I will just do last name, first name. And then it was 1A underscore flyer. And then click Save. You'll notice that it also changes at the top of your document to reflect that new name. Now we're going to move on to Objective 2, which deals with inserting and formatting graphics. So in your textbook, as we've been following along, this will be on page 155. So first thing we're going to do is step 1 here, and it says, including the paragraph mark, select the first paragraph of text, which is the internships available. So let's do that, and including the paragraph mark, which is this mark at the end of the line. Now we go to the Home tab, and in the font group we're going to click the Text Effects and Typography. So in the Home tab, in the font group, this is Text Effects and Typography. And then once you're here, before selecting it, if you toggle back, you can look to see which one they want. And they want us in the third row, it's going to be the first effect. And it should have a screen tip when we mouse over it of Fill, Black, Text 1, Outline, Background 1, Hard Shadow, Background 1. It is a mouthful, but that's what you sort of want to have in your mind when you're looking at it. So here's the third row, first effect, and there you'll see the screen tip that displays that information. So go ahead and click that. And then while the text is still selected in step 3 here, in the font group we're going to click in the font size box to select existing font size, and then we're going to type 52 and press enter. So here we go, we click here, type 52, press enter. So now you can see the change in the text effect as well as the size on the title. So moving on to the next page, 156, and do step 4. So with the text still selected, in the paragraph group, we're going to click center to center the text, and then you can compare your screen to the figure below. So in the paragraph group, this is the center button here. As you can see, it moves it right to the center. In step 5, with the text still selected, in the font group, we're going to click the font color button arrow, and under theme colors, in the 6th column, we're going to click the first color. We're looking for orange accent 2. So here's the font color arrow, and it said the 6th column, which is here, and the first color, which is orange accent 2. Again, you can see that screen tip, and you can see the effect it has on the title. Now in step 6, with the text still selected in the font group, we can click the Text Effects and Typography button once again, but this time we're going to point to Shadow, and then under Outer, in the 2nd row, we're going to click the 3rd style, Offset Left. So once again, here, click on, hover over Shadow, and then in Outer, I believe it was the 2nd row, third item, Offset Left. And so now that applies a shadow effect to that item. And then in step 7, we're going to click anywhere in the document to deselect the text, and then we're going to click Save, and it should look sort of like what you see here. So go ahead and click anywhere, Save. So you might notice on my screen too that the title is split to 2 lines. Well, I'm not entirely clear why it's doing this. As long as you have your settings indicated as shown throughout the instructions, you should be fine here. It likely could be a screen size issue or something similar. In this particular case, if yours looks like this, that's fine. If it's on one line as shown in the textbook, that is also fine. So now we move to step 1 down in activity 1.04 down below. So in the paragraph that begins this summer, we're going to click to position the insertion point at the beginning of the paragraph. So we just want to click here, And now we go to the next page, 157. On the Insert tab in the Illustrations group, we're going to click Pictures. And in the Insert Picture dialog box, we're going to go to the Student Data Files and select the W01A bird file and click Insert. So we want to go ahead and go to Insert, Pictures, and then again navigating to our location, word 1, and we're looking for this bird. There we go. Okay, and so in step 3, you'll notice the round sizing handles around the selected picture as shown in the in the figure below. So you can see all these are these rounded things here. Those are for resizing basically. And so those can be centered to move them a different round in different locations. So as we go down to activity 1.05, what we're going to do is we're going to play around with the layout a little bit. So in step 1, of course, it says be sure the picture is selected. You know if it is selected if the sizing handles display, which they are. If they are not on your screen, just go ahead and click on the image. In step 2, to the right of the picture, click the Layout Options button to see a gallery of the text wrapping arrangements. And then you can mouse over them to see the different screen tips. So we're going to do that, and from that gallery in step 3, under With Text Wrapping, we're going to click the first layout square. So we're going to click here, With Text Wrapping section, and you see square. Now you can see how the text moves to the side of it, and it should look similar to this figure here, 1.8. We're then going to close the layout options and then save the document once again. So click here, click your Save button. Okay. Now in activity 1.06, we're going to go to step 1 here. So of course, if necessary, scroll your document so the entire picture displays. And at the lower right corner of the picture, we're going to point to the sizing handle, and we're going to drag slightly upward to the left. And as you drag, you're going to see a green alignment guide, which might display at the left margin. So you may or may not see that. But then we're going to compare it to this figure over here. But before we do that, note that in step 2, it's stating to continue to drag up and to the left until the bottom of the graphic is aligned at approximately 4 inches on the vertical ruler. So that's going to be that ruler on the left-hand side. So I'm going to drag up to the left, and then eventually, let's say about there. So once you've reached that point, you're going to go to step 3, and on the quick access toolbar, we're actually going to click undo. And this will bring it back to its original size. So it's good to know the undo command, because that will come in handy for various things when you make a mistake in what you're trying to do or want to back up. And step 4 on the ribbon under Picture Tools and on the Format tab, in the Size group, we're going to click into Shape Height, and we're going to type 3.8. So here on the Format, Shape Height 3.8, press Enter. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look at figure 1.10, where you'll be able to see how that should look. And again, save your document. And then in activity 1.07, we're going to go ahead to be sure the picture is selected, and on the Format tab again in the Arrange group, we're going to click Position and click More Layout Options. So here, More Layout Options. And then once in that window that comes up in the Layout dialog box, we're going to ensure the Position tab is selected, and under Horizontal, we're going to click the Alignment Option button right here. Then we're going to click the Alignment arrow and click Right. And to the right of Relative to, we're going to click the arrow and click Margin. Under Vertical, we're also going to click the Alignment button option and change the alignment options to Top Relative to Line, Relative to Line, and then go ahead and click OK. And you'll see how we've moved the picture. So this is just to demonstrate that there's more than one way to sort of do this, and you can see these in these figures here. So anyhow, that's all we'll cover for this video lesson. This should get you started on the material and the content found in this section. So I'd encourage you to continue on with this exercise before then going on to your homework exercises. Have a great week.